You won't believe the move Daniel Ricciardo just made. A decision that could change not only Ford's future in Formula One, but also the Australians' fate on the grid. The paddock's most famous smile is back in the headlines, and this could be just the beginning. Daniel Ricciardo has never stopped being talked about. Even out of the spotlight, the Australian's name carries weight. The weight of victories, the weight of charisma, the weight of history. And when everyone thought that his journey was coming to an end, a new chapter emerged, unexpected and full of mystery. The man who stopped racing is back in the news, not for a result on the track, but for a strategic move that has put the Formula One world on alert. Ricciardo was announced as a global ambassador for Ford, the very same manufacturer that will supply engines to Red Bull in 2026. A coincidence? Hardly. In Formula One, nothing is done without calculation, without planning, without a greater meaning. This is where the flame of speculation is lit. Is it just marketing, or the first step towards a return? The fans are already starting to dream, and when the fans dream, the pressure mounts. Ricciardo is back in the game, but which board will he play on? To understand this impact, we need to look back. Ricciardo was one of the greatest stars of the past decade, claiming 8 victories and leaving iconic moments in the memory of F1 fans. His time at Red Bull was legendary. Bold overtaking, thrilling podium finishes, and that hunting instinct that saw him go head-to-head with even Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. Then came the more difficult years. Renault and McLaren failed to deliver the dream car. Even so, Ricciardo pulled off an epic victory at Monza 2021, reminding the world what he was capable of. But the decline was harsh. Mistakes, lack of pace, difficulty adapting to increasingly complex cars. The Honey Badger seemed to have lost its edge. In Singapore 2024, we saw his final race as a starter. A silent farewell, without the triumphant exit he deserved. Except Ricciardo was never just a driver. He was always a showman. He was always a natural ambassador for the sport. And that's why I'm asking you, if you believe the Australian still has gas in the tank, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below, because this discussion is going to get heated. The news is simple on the surface. Ricciardo will be a global ambassador for Ford. But let's go further. Ford will power Red Bull's engines starting in 2026 in a strategic deal that promises to shake up the grid. Ricciardo, with his immense popularity, is the perfect bridge for this project. He not only represents speed, but also lifestyle, connection with fans, and proximity to new markets. Ford has made it clear that it wants to unite track and street, competition and consumption, performance and experience. And Ricciardo is the embodiment of this. By taking on the role, he not only remains within the most powerful circle in Formula One. 8 victories, a legion of fans, a massive media presence. These are credentials that few figures in the paddock have today. And that's why, even though he's not on the grid, Ricciardo remains a key part of the team. Imagine the scene. Ricciardo enters the paddock, not in his racing suit, but in his Ford blazer, surrounded by journalists and flashbulbs. The smile that once shone on the podiums now makes its way into backstage. Meetings, global events, and car launches. Alongside Ford executives and Red Bull engineers, he becomes a visible link between two worlds preparing to collide in 2026. But the stares in the paddock are inevitable. When Daniel walks down the grid, drivers, bosses, and fans alike wonder, could he still return? It's like watching a movie where the retired hero is given one last mission. The soundtrack swells, the tension builds, and the audience holds their breath. Because the truth is, no one has forgotten who Daniel Ricciardo is. No one has forgotten his ability to surprise. And, who would have thought? Perhaps we are witnessing the prelude to another act in this saga. The buzz behind the scenes at Red Bull is inevitable. The second seat remains the team's biggest dilemma. Yuki Tsunoda, despite his efforts, is at the bottom of the standings among the regular drivers. It's not an encouraging scenario for the Red Bull driver. The youngsters at the academy, Lawson, Hajar, Lindblad, are talented, but they don't represent an immediate solution for a demanding and temperamental car. It's in this context that Ricciardo's name resurfaces. A reliable veteran with the experience and background to hold the fort. Boss Lauren Meches has already spoken openly about the family feeling of seeing Daniel back in the Red Bull races. But behind the friendly rhetoric, there's a sense of more going on. A silent, strategic movement. And the controversy is already on the table. Is Ricciardo just an ambassador or a trump card to take over the cockpit in case of emergency? We need to be realistic here. Ricciardo has always been driven by ambition. Accepting a second driver role behind Verstappen doesn't seem motivating. He would have to settle for developing the car, helping the team, and perhaps, from time to time, fighting for podiums, but never for the title. This can be a huge obstacle, because Daniel knows what it means to fight for victories, and he knows how much it hurts to accept a supporting role. At the same time, his love for the sport never faded, and history shows that drivers rarely manage to walk away permanently. Alonso is back. Raikkonen is back. Vettel is the subject of rumors. Ford could be the key to reigniting the flame. The global project is massive, and Ricciardo may be tempted to embrace a return that would be not only technical, but also strategic. If the 2026 car is competitive, the temptation will be even greater. Design. No one can resist a winning. In this game of patience, all we can do is wait and follow every detail of this puzzle. Ricciardo is back in Formula One, but in a different way. Not in the cockpit, but as the face of a giant brand. But the simple fact that he is close to Red Bull and Ford has already reignited rumors of a possible return. Fans dream. Bosses leave clues. And Daniel, with his enigmatic phrases, keeps the suspense in the air. Will he return? Is the honey badger still hungry for victory? Could Ford be the final push to get him back on the grid? All of this remains open. But one thing is certain. Ricciardo is once again the protagonist of a story that seemed to be over. And this is where I pass the ball to you. Do you believe this movement is just marketing, or are we facing the prelude to an epic comeback? Leave your opinion in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and continue following this soap opera that promises many twists and turns.